What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. I am back as promised, and I have a gem that I want to share with you all, as well as you all calling in. For this is a season that many believe is a time of giving. So, hey, give your opinion, your view, your answer to the question of the evening. And that is, what is the best gift, word of wisdom, you received that was life changing? Now, I know that we are so used to giving different gifts, whether it's monetary gifts by the cash flow in the hands, or whether it may be material gifts, givings, and all that right there. And I know I remember as a child getting gifts and all that. We were all happy and so in awe that it really made our day. But how long did that even last? You know what I'm saying? When it came to us really getting the gift that really would have last forever. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit into this. But before then, let me give a shout out to the people that are coming in. Please shout out at me and I'll shout out at you. Let me know where you are at this current moment in time, so I give you that shout out. Please do. Awaken now, Israel. Shalom. Family, how are you doing? African Empress. Hi, my brother, you say. Hi, how are you doing? And Chrome David, Uncle Black, peace from Baltimore. Baltimore in the house, BLT. How are you doing? Look like we got three people who's already put these comments in. So I'm giving a shout out to each and every one of you all. I don't know if things are moving slow or not. I do see on my screen over here, I'm getting probably a little bit more response than I am here. Time restriction, whatever. But yes, DM, good evening to you. Musin Hussein, love from Somalia. Wow, Somalia. Please, I have not been there to Somalia. Stay in contact with me. Shoot me an email if you are wanting to show me your country. Yes, going black. What's up, solutions, man? What's happening there, low seas too? Nothing much here, but just, I want to go ahead and have a little dialogue. That means that you also can play part in this and just sharing with the world. What is the best gift that you receive from someone? Words of wisdom. Now, we got gifts that we have given each other, monetary side, I mean, giving money at times, and we give material things at times. I can't even remember the gifts I got just even last year. They're very fleeting moments and that, not everlasting. But I'll start with me. And, growing up, there was many of gifts that I were given, didn't even realize they were really gifts. Call them gems, gold nuggets, what have you, words of wisdom. But, back then, there were elders around. And though we were young and ignored the words of and wisdoms of the elders, there still were some things that I do remember. Now, I remember one of the things was I was told as a young one is that your mouth can get you in trouble if you do not watch what you say. Now, until I got about my 20s, I didn't realize what that meant because, I was really free flowing. And not to say that it was telling me that I should bite my lip and my tongue on things that I wanted to say. It really was about me watching before I say it, how I'm going to lay it out there. Because, wise counsel, the elders, they know through life experiences that, you just can't be just throwing out of your mouth anything. Because sometimes you can gain more enemies than you can gain friends. And so you should be very careful in what you say. Now, I know that, hey, people say it's a freedom of speech and you should have a right to say what you want to say. Sure enough, you can. But that next joker there may not receive it well and put a bullet in your head. That next person over there might just decide to go ahead and do harm to you. That next person who don't receive it well just may come at you with a total different action. Now, that doesn't mean just because you say a word of peace ain't going to cost you, because we even know what comes out of your mouth may be in peaceful words. And I know I have to deal with this all the time. Got many of people who hate on me from the words I say, not trying to gain an understanding of who I am, but just the words that come out people want to rest upon the words and not get the understanding of where I'm coming from. That can get you in trouble. But that's one of the things that I have learned from elders, saying that be careful in what you say because your words can sometimes put you in a bind. But also, on the other side of that, your words can gain friends and gain you favor by the words you speak, which is true. Heartbeat TV says, oh, from 115K subs, I see you. Yeah, let me say this right here to that, 115K, I probably have about 4,000 strong followers, if you will, per se, those who are just chiming in. I don't get caught up in subscribers because, there are people who come and go and just hit the subscribe button. And I wish that all of them would really unsubscribe who doesn't really want to follow some of the videos or see what's being said and stuff like that. So really, it's a give or take. I'm going to tell you by the analytics that I see and I've done, 4,000 of you all really are really following or watching or listening to what I really say. That's what's really important to me. And why would I be important to me if somebody's listening on it right there? Because I think that at the age of 55, in this crazy world where I remember when I got older and I kind of left and didn't have the ear for elders, and I tried to figure it out on my own and got myself in a whole lot of problems, that there are some wiser than me at a young age who wants to kind of listen and say, you know what, let me learn from this guy's mistakes. That's why you always hear me talk about the dirt I was in. You will always hear me when I am sharing things about my past, because if I can help one person not to make the mistakes I made, I believe it makes them more healthier as a better man or woman, a husband or wife, a father or mother, versus the mistakes I made and I had to fight through it. And it caused me time and effort and energy and pain to be able to try to take back or reel in or change the very issues that I did as a young whippersnapper who had no sense. So wise counsel, words of wisdom is what I'm talking about. That gift that is giving that really will last a lifetime. I'm going to put the link in the chat real quick because there are some people out here who hold near and dear to them some words of wisdom that somebody shared with them that they found to be fruitful, to be a gift that just keeps giving them blessings because they adhere to it. And so, let me go ahead and put this link in the chat because I'm not going to be doing all the talking, here, this last one I did. I'm not here just to hear myself think or talk, but I'm really here just to have dialogue. The link is in there, and please chime on in, share. Let me tell you this right here. Like I told you all right here, I've coached over the years, I've ministered over the years, counseled over the years, and I'm gonna tell you all, this is a dying world. This is a world that so many people that you would not even believe are suffering and won't say anything. But yet I have found that through these counselings and coachings and these so-called ministerings and stuff, that people confided in me with some of their heartbreaking, miserable past and issues that go on, that the words I left them with, they said I helped them. And sometimes those who are listening are looking for answers. So don't ever think that your words is not here to help, because my channel is always here to help. And though some of you all think just because I might give certain places, countries, or people hard times in me giving my perspective on them, that might sound negative, it's all done in love. And so the link is in the chat. The happy companion, man, I want to see you come on in. Chime in here, brother, because you are a man, have a lot of wisdom. And I would love, man, for you to be the first caller. It would be my honor to have my brother call in first. The link is in the chat. I hope that you maybe have that space and time. You may be busy right now but I would love for you to go ahead and chime in because we chopped it up while we were in Liberia, and sometimes we chop it up on the side. That I believe that being that you are an elder in the 50s, that you also have some words of wisdom that you can share as well. Even if you all are younger, because everybody has words of wisdom, words that were given to them, words that you have learned, of wisdoms that you have learned that made your life much more better, prosperous, brought you peace and blessings. And so the link is there in the chat because, I can say this right here. In my days of my youth, even right now, I still consider myself in my youth at times because there are those that are elders before me. I had to consult my father-in-law here a year ago because there were some issues that were going on with me and my household that I want to make sure I did not make a bonehead decision, that I sought counsel from my 89-year-old father-in-law. I'm never too old to try to learn. And I sat there and I consulted him and I laid my heart out to him. And he shared some things. And he said, I'm calling your household to the circle of the family because it would be an injustice for me and you to have a dialogue if I don't invite the household. So all of us household came and he listened. 89 years old now, y'all. He heard everybody out and he laid it out on the floor. What he listened to and was discerning, because he didn't have no vested interest in it, except for the fact that he loved us as a family, but he could consciously and rightfully make a judgment based upon what everybody was saying to be able to help my family unit and to prolong its health in which the direction we were trying to go. Ain't no shame in my game to go to an elder. And this is what we lack today. We got the THC coming up in the house. What's up, my brother? Salute to you. What's happening? Do I got you on mute or you got yourself unmute? Unmute yourself. Yeah, you still muted. Nah, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Let me see if I got you muted. No, I ain't got you muted. Hold on a second. Can I mute your guest because they chose to mute? You're on mute, brother. It says here on my end that you are muted. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Let me
Got it.
There you go. What's up, brother?
What's going on, brother?
Shalom, man. Shalom. Peace and blessings to you.
Yeah. Long time. My internet been acting up because some cable got sliced or something today. So yeah, I saw you chopping it up. I said, let me get on here. I saw you drop the link.
Yeah, I saw your live today too, as well, with the sister that's living in Egypt.
Okay. Let me see if I can get it to
You good
area.
right now?
Can you hear me or?
I can hear you. You might not be able to hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me see.
We're about to hear from the THC here, you all. If you all don't know him, go ahead and subscribe to his channel. He is living. Our brother is living in the Gambia. He doing business in the Gambia. He married a Gambian. He has got land and doing all the big things that one should be doing, is like he has, but yet he is representing us very well and proudly. Got his channel, and he's also edifying the people through his words of wisdom. Now I see that he is locked up. Maybe now, brother, you may not be able to hear me, but you have moved yourself probably to a place maybe that doesn't have better reception than what you have left from. But I'm going to continue on until you can find your way back. But I'm putting the link into the chat for you all to come in and share the word of wisdom that changed your life by an elder, by a family member, by somebody that you hinged on and found that it was very beneficial and your life has never been the same. Where are y'all at, family members? Because hey, this is a day and time today that you know what? It's very fruitful words out here. Y'all know it. Y'all know how today's world is. You know, every man for himself, and all this garbage people are spewing out there. Okay, I see he's back right now. Um,
Okay. Sorry about that.
okay, all right. What's up, brother?
Hey, nothing much, man. Been following your channel, man, as usual. You dropping them gold nuggets. Yeah, yeah.
You're a little
Uh,
frozen, but I still hear you though.
oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we have internet issues since yesterday in the Gambia, so it's all over. It's not just me. So I thought it was just
Okay.
my channel. Yeah, my thing. But yeah, man, how you been doing? Yeah, Sierra Leone, a long time ago now, but it seemed like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I had headed once I left there, Sierra Leone. I went down to South America. Me and my wife, we
Okay.
went down there to Medellin because I came back, man, from Liberia. I left Sierra Leone and I went to Liberia, and then I came back
Okay.
here to the cold weather, and I was like, "Up, babe, let's get on down back to some warm weather." She had some
Yeah.
time to kill, and I just got back here about a few days ago, and now I'm about to go ahead and embark on another journey here to head south, to get to warm
Okay.
climate because I can't deal with the cold. So, brother,
Man.
please share with the people, man, a little bit about you, man, and share a word of wisdom maybe that changed your life, whatever it may have been, a word of wisdom that had an impact in your life. I call it the best gift that you can ever give, and that's the words of wisdom, whatever which way that may be. Please share.
Okay. Well, born and raised in Long Beach, California, on that east side. So went to high school with Snoop Dogg, different people, Cameron Diaz back in the day. Went to the military, Air Force, then Coast Guard, and um, I read the book was an autobiography by Malcolm X almost 30 years ago, and it changed
And
my
here.
life reading the book. Yeah. So I was like, then I read Roots by Alex Haley and, all the Holy Quran, different books. But as far as like Malcolm X, they really changed my life in a lot of ways. And it reminded me of, hey, you know what? Then that's how I got involved in mentally in Pan-Africanism and stuff. So I've been in Gambia for over a year now and been, I think, how many countries I've been in? I think 11 or 10 in Africa. So I've been
Yeah.
around, traveled around, and I set shop up in Gambia. Got a tourism business here. Got a fashion and tailoring business, and got a couple other things that I'm working on. And Gambian wife, like you said, Fulani Mandinka, and just what made me come here, I always wanted to come to Africa. And I've been to Africa, East Africa, like 15, 16 years ago. I went over there to Kenya and Tanzania several times. But I just got tired of dealing with the racism and stuff, and all that, and I feel like my ancestors' prayers prayed one day to her that their loved ones will somehow come back to Africa and live, and even if they just want to visit. So I ended up packing up and moving here. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a good ride. So like I said, I've been all over East Africa. I located my cousins through DNA in Nigeria earlier this year, and had about 6 weeks there. Spent some time with my cousins that I met. So it's like the things that I've been wanting to do in my life. It's like out of all the careers, good careers, excellent careers, man, I live good in America. I didn't live bad. And I feel like it came in full circle that I'm here on the continent. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy. Hey, hello, everybody in the chat, man. This is a good brother right here. I had hung out with this brother, man, go back to Africa. So, met him in person. So I'm really honored to humble, man. You got me on the live tonight. Thank you, brother.
Hey, brother, I appreciate you. So now let's get into that right there because I'm putting a link back in the chat for everybody that I want those to
Okay.
come in and share their experience of what was the
Yeah.
word of wisdom that maybe changed their life forever. The gift, because
Mhm.
today we know people are giving gifts out today, and hey, to each his own in their celebration during this time season. If that's your thing, hey, that's your thing. And but many people have their gifts that were given them. To me, I got what's more important that I remember many over the years that have kind of
Mm-hmm.
shaped and molded me along the way, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that there are many people out here who, because of maybe some elders or some influences by others that maybe they adhered to, that caused them to listen and take heed to, that really developed and changed their life forever. Because you had mentioned that autobiography of Malcolm X, and
Yes.
that was one of them and stuff right there, which I recall that was the first book that I read. I mean, I tell people that from front to back. I was not a reader. I was not a reader back then as a young man. I just did not read. I mean, it was, when I say read, I was a skimmer. I can skim through something, whatever, but actually, I sat down and I read word from front to back, and it did have an impact. That was definitely a very impactful book, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how a brother during the 60s actually went through the struggle, and not only against what we would call the white society, but also the struggle in the nation of Islam, or what have you, and then him going on a journey and going to Mecca, and then having a total different perspective of things and the people who he encountered. So it was definitely impactful, that even I appreciate in reading. But as far as you, brother, I know that you're a Muslim brother, and I know that was
Yes.
very impactful for you in your practice and all.
Yes. Yes.
That I know that you definitely give respect and honor to Allah and Allah's prophets and stuff like that. You have anything else to share with the people?
Yeah, and what you're saying is true. That book was a gift. To be honest with you, somebody told me to read it. One of the older brothers I was in the military with. I'm not with the Nation of Islam. I follow the Sunni Islam, but that book really, actually, Malcolm X actually went to Sunni. I think later on after he left the nation. But no disrespect to the nation or anything like that. But gifts like that at a young age. I think I was like 19 years old. 20 years old, something like that. And when the older brothers with wisdom in the military, they want to keep you out of trouble. Hey man, you coming from Long Beach? I can say you got some street in you. You know what I'm saying? I said, yeah, I'm still, coming from the battle zone. Coming from those different areas. So, and you give me a book like that. I read that book in 3 days. I read it. I started on a Friday, and then by Sunday early morning, before I went to work, I finished it. I was in Osan Air Base, Korea, when I read that book. I was like 19 or 20 years old, I believe. So that's when I finished it. Yeah. Thank you so
Hey
much.
man,
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely, man. I appreciate that, man. You sharing that right there. Let's see, we got somebody else coming on. Sit tight there, THC, for me if you have the time. If not, man, I
Yeah, I got
appreciate you. But yeah, sit tight real quick. Let's go to the nameless, and I can't read the whole letters and all that right there. Come on in and share with us about you and the best gift that you have received. I see that you got yourself on mute, so we can't hear you.
All right, are you able to hear me?
Can hear you right now. Yes.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Evening now, I should say. It's the first time being on your channel. I think I subbed you a while ago.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just now catching one of your live streams. So just thought I'd participate in the activity.
Okay.
You said keywords, meaning what phrase or bit of wisdom ended up being key as it provided for you benefit that was life-changing potentially. And even though I can cite books and I can cite instances that were not just prophetic but profound for me, I think a very important phrase, if I had to sum it down to a phrase, mattered a lot to me. And it was in the form of a proverb that I heard in Swahili. It's Mimini mtukwa sababu kuna watu, which means I am a person because they're people. And I think that phrase for me offered a deep, multi-layered lens to understand what it means to be part of the African diaspora and how important it is to understand, one, who you are, two, to have a name, three, understand the meaning of that name, four, have a purpose, and realize that even though you are an individual, it's the aggregate that you come from that gives you context as a human being. And I can really trace the overwhelming majority of our issues, especially and I'm from the United States, so I'll speak from my subjective experience in what I call the ADOS tribe. I think our experience in America and our estrangement to the continent really is testament to failing to understand that principle, that it's possible for you to both be an individual and part of an aggregate, and that most people are operating from the inertia that they received from the culture under which they brought here. And we're one of the only groups of people who are connected to such a huge diverse potential of human beings, period, since we know that there's more ethnicities on the continent than all the rest of the world combined. But that because we're not walking with the name, because we have that cultural reset from the plantation experience, there's so much that we lost as a result of that. And we have so much more to gain by being able to see each other in this shared experience and know that the continent does have important tools that we can use to not only recreate that, but to get somewhere moving forward. And I think that is profoundly underappreciated. And I believe that's the true value in this term, Pan-Africanism, because all it speaks to is a recognition that we have a dimension that we share on a fundamental level. And under that context, we can move forward into something much bigger than just us as an individual. In other words, I am a person because there's people.
I hear you. I hear you. Very well said, my brother. I appreciate that info right there. Um, Let me go ahead and let people know that the link is in the chat. That's powerful, impactful in your life there. That's changing, life's changing, not just for yourself. I mean, for many of people. I believe us having revelations on various sayings and whether we can quote them or whether, something that was recited to us by our ancestors or loved ones, what have you. Um, I think it's the greatest gift, I think it's the greatest gift that where you have something that you can pass down to your children's children, something that, thieves can't come steal, rust, and can't steal, take away from, but that seed of word, of history, one knowing oneself, one knowing where you come from, so that one can continue to go forward and never get confused of who he or she is, because we live in right now in a country or live or come from a country or the Western world that tells you that you can be whatever you want to be, you can act and behave the way you want to act, you can treat one another and talk and do and all these different type of things, which can sometimes cause confusion, and one can get a little bit off track or get way off track, and yet find themselves caught up into the ways of the world, if you will, or the ways of that culture that could be even that much more detrimental to you. And I think we all have experienced that in, like you said, in I would call you the TNP, the TNP, that when we try to do what others do, we find ourselves in where we're in today. Because then when you behave in what's subscribed to you, when it's not even typically you, you're going to find that you're probably self-destruct. And I think that's when we see the warring going on against each other within our communities because of that. It's
I think a really good book that's highlighting very accurately what you're talking about was done by Dr. Marimba Aini, known as Yorugu.
Mhm.
If I'll type that name in the chat if you haven't seen it yet. If you have not read that book yet, it is a treasure trove of information. Dr. Marimba Aini. She's got a lot of lectures on YouTube speaking about this. Essentially, she's a cultural anthropologist.
okay.
And essentially what she did was she analyzed Western culture the way one would analyze a culture from antiquity, and analyzed it starting from the current modern era and worked her way backwards to the general foundings of where the West gets its cultural impetus,
Mm-hmm.
which is generally Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And in that understanding, there is you use this word nature, and I think that's important because that nature really helps set the tone for worldview. So when we look at a Western perspective of something, if someone understands that they are them, in the West, they in and of themselves begin from a position of isolation. They are simply them. They are a product of various processes that brought them down to that point in time and space. There is them and then the outside world. As a result, anything beyond the self is something that is unknown. And we know that the origin of fear is the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to deal with fear is to destroy or to control. And if this becomes your matrix of understanding, your culture in turn will reflect this dynamic. However, if you have an understanding that you are you, remember what I said before, I'm a person because there's people.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand that you are an aspect of a much greater picture, that you are a microcosm of the Most High, of the Creator, of everything around you, there is no true other self. There's just simply you
Mm-hmm.
and your existence. There's an intrinsic connection, and there's absolutely no need as a result to be seeing it as something unknown. You may be in a state of remembering, you may be in a state of recalibrating your relationship to it, but it's not unknown because it's part of the all. And as a result, there is no fear. So there's no need to control. There's no need to try to destroy. There's only the desire to reconnect and understand and share. And that's what you see fundamentally at the difference with the culture, which is what we're talking about right now. And when you look at a lot of you can call it syntax error, where a command is given and there's an issue with the way that command is executed because it was not designed to perform that task. Culturally speaking, that's what we're experiencing as
Mm-hmm.
individuals of African descent operating within a Western paradigm.
Most definitely. Hey, and you know what, man, you dropping some good knowledge right there because you know, when I say it, people, and I understand it's hard to grasp when you have been born and raised into a place and you have become it, the very thing that you are being told that might be your enemy or your downfall. It's hard because of fear to let go and to be able to go on a journey to seek outside what you know. A lot of people they have a hang up on that. But hey, happy companion, what words you got to add on that, brother?
Hey, that's a deep brother right there. I was listening. I like what I heard. So I like what I hear from this brother. When you were saying that fear is like control and destruction, huh? Is that what those two terms you used? I believe
Correct.
the nameless prophet. Okay. Yeah.
Protagonist.
So,
Oh, protagonist.
Matthias.
Okay.
Okay, I couldn't see your the whole name, but that seemed that what happened in slavery too. And we have to go when the Europeans came. It was fear, but they couldn't fear. They want to control, or if they can't control, they're going to destroy it. So that seemed like that's what happened to us in a lot of ways. Is that we've been uh, victims of what fear is. Just like in the prison systems. In the streets, the police fear the young black man. You know, but the only way they can go over their fear is they control us by putting us in there and then the jail and prisons. And then guess what? Later on, if that fear is still there, they're going to destroy us. So I feel like I have never been in that situation, never been to prison, nothing like that. But I feel like, I that could have been my destiny had I not made the choice that I did when I was 18 years old. Well, actually, before I was 18, I made the decision that what I was going to join and get out of the hood and all that. But the fact is that we are still living that way. And when you mention the syntax era as well, you know, we are kind of hybrids. And I mentioned that, you know, it's a hybrid in a good way and a hybrid in a bad way, meaning that a hybrid, meaning hybrid people, we still African in a lot of ways, but we lost that culture, we lost that language, we lost all that. However, in a lot of ways, we are Europeans too, in a sense that we carry the language and we carry a lot of the culture. So, and that was really preached upon us that you must be this way, you must live this way. And so when we come to Africa, there's a lot of difficulties adjusting for a lot of people, you know, so we stay in our own surroundings, our own tribes, you know, the diaspora tribes, instead of trying to assimilate and learn the culture, you know, that was lost. And that,
You know what I call that?
So that's, what do you call it, my brother?
Well,
I describe it as,
go
ahead, family.
Hey, protagonist, hold 1 second, okay? I
Yeah.
want to let my brother just finish his thought, okay? And then you can, once he finished, because that's how my panel I do. I don't like interruptions. Like you,
Absolutely, no problem.
no problem. So yeah, go ahead, finish up, companion, happy companion, then nameless protagonist. You definitely can respond.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, the last thing I was going to say is that, you know, and that's what's going on. I see that, you know, we you know, we live in a hybrid society. The other people who are feared for us, they don't live in a hybrid society. They already come from their culture is already from Europe. They're already from, so that, you know, everything they're taught is pretty much something that's going to empower them and make them be more high self-esteem, a higher, you know, level of jobs and communication with you know, everything, technology, because everybody's sharing a lot of technology and things like that. But when it comes to us, you know, we are there. We have to look at our faces, look at what we have, but we still are missing. It's like the missing link. We're missing something that's connected us, and that's what I want to say.
Yeah, you know, hey, I just put the link back in the chat for those who want to share with what is the best gift that you have received, words of wisdom or what have you that has changed your life forever. I know our conversations kind of went, you know, forward, which still stems back to really words of wisdom that maybe have changed our life by the knowledge that we have, that we want to share with others. Go ahead, nameless protagonist, what you wanted to respond when you said that this is what I call that, and go ahead, you can respond.
Yeah, it was only to augment his point and add a little bit more gravity to it. I describe it as having African hardware operating on Western software, specifically African-American.exe. And I think
Okay.
I think since I believe each of you have been on the continent, I think you understand what I'm talking about. There's a kind of rhythm that is experienced and a weight that's lifted off of you when you're seen for the first time as a human being and not an individual who holds a classification. And I don't think people appreciate the kind of weight that's placed on you by the gaze of society who sees you as a Black man. That is a much heavier weight to carry than even being a foreigner in most other countries. Even if you just walk around with the label of American, you're still seen as a human being and as a man. And that has much more of a true ring to your humanity than it does Black man within the context of the United States of America and in the West in general. And it's not until you come back from having experienced that and you feel that weight placed back on you again that you understand really the thing that was missing. And that was being seen as a human. And it's something that's very easily taken for granted because we've been in this condition for so long that we've come accustomed to it. We're adapted to it. It's much like people who live in extreme temperatures. when they go into areas that are more temperate, they don't realize how adjusted they are to those extremes. And we've had to do this as a survival mechanism for so long that we shock ourselves with the amount of productivity we can get when we're surrounded by a group of people who are truly looking at you and your potential to offer value to the group there.
You know, there was a time and place where when I was a young man, I was very frustrated with being a Black man. And for those who are listening to my video earlier today, uh, I had to chew on from the spirit of removing my mindset from being a Black man. Not that my skin is not, but the mentality of the trickery of what was placed on me, of putting me in a box of being a Black man. A year or so to really chew on and digest the meaning of what I was hearing in my spirit, to move me beyond than just what they wanted to use the color against me. But I'll tell you this right here, that I am at 55 years old. It is an honor to be at a disadvantage, because it's really shown me how strong we are. When I look at how the adversities of life that we've gone through as a people, let alone individually, for those who were able to fight through, it really shows the strength that is within. And I say that, this world is not a perfect world. You find your own people take advantage of their own. And I'm gonna get back here on the topic of the gift. There are gifts that are given just to take your mind off of what's really going on. When Africa was bamboozled by the outside and the foreigners who came in, what they brought into Africa was gifts. Gifts that they have never saw before, whether it was mirrors or whether it was items that was, you know, uh, something that they never saw before, that kind of took their mind off of really who they were and what they stood for, but it paused them in time in this gift that was given them to put them to sleep. In other words, keep you distracted. Because when you giving somebody a gift, sometimes it could be used as a tool or a weapon. And that all gifts given ain't really the gift that one should get. But here's the thing. We say give a gift that, gifts that keep on giving, and when it comes to spirituality, there are people who subscribe to different spiritualities and say that that's their life gift. But when we really talk about a gift, and monetary wise, money wise, whether it's material wise, because I want to kind of stay on where we are at in this moment of time, because sometimes we as a people need to pause and just think, why are we doing right now at this moment of time what we doing? Being out here in the streets here in the last 2 days was hectic, because everybody's out there and they're going to the stores and they're shopping and they're getting gifts and all that right there. But does that get us anywhere? Especially for our people. Because the gift was the trick of the hand, what was given to us to keep our minds off really what's really actually going on around us, just like this season that we see today. Whether it's a birth of what is, we would say the Christ was, or what we say is the Santa Claus in the sky, dropping gifts in the chimney. Was it the distraction and the tricky of the hand of the enemy to have us believe that this gift that is giving can keep us dumbfounded and still stay in the rut that we're in? And that's what I see. But it takes words of wisdom. It takes our elders. It takes those who have an ear to hear, to stay on point, to continue to share the message that we're doing right now to people, just to give them a little something to realize that, look, these words of wisdom, they're priceless. They're a light of liberty, um, that I believe all of one would understand that, hey, what one may be saying may not be exactly what you're needing at this moment in time, but it might be just a small gem, gold nugget, what have you, that you can sit on and chew on and bring you into an enlightenment of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So I'm saying that, what brothers y'all are sharing is wisdom in a word, a gift that is given instead of the gift underneath the Christmas tree that we anxiously wait for the 25th to unwrap. And it only is going to last for a couple of days. Like I said, very few people can remember what somebody gave them last year's gifts. But what is that that has changed your life, bringing you into a knowledge of understanding of who you are, where you derive or originated from, and how can that bring you more liberty? THC, what you got on that? I think he went on a freeze. What about their protagonist? Can you hear me?
Did he unfreeze or?
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, he seemed like he was about to answer.
Yeah, I think he's pausing. But go ahead, protagonist.
Hmm. That was a lot said. Okay, he's speaking, but I think he's muted.
Is he muted?
I think
Yeah,
he's.
THC, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself. But keep it short and sweet there. You don't have to cover everything I said, but just share a point of one, and then we'll move forward. I'm putting a link in, family, for somebody to share with me the greatest gift that you have received that changed your life forever.
So, one of the points I made earlier about being estranged from the world around you are the two modalities that you generally will exercise if you only see yourself as self serving. Is that within the unknown context, you have to control, and what you can't control, you destroy. Part of those gifts you were talking about were things with the intention of to destroy or control. And that's what you
Mhm.
find a lot of those gifts do. When you can have an individual who is in a state of having their needs not met, and you can transmute those needs into something that is a physical object that you can control, you then in turn can control the people. In other words, get the people to desire something and control the thing which they desire, and in turn you control them. It just simply means that the mind is the tool that will enslave or liberate you. And once they have your mind, they get your body and your soul for free. So, the important thing here to understand, and it goes with everything, is context. Context is more important than the actual action because there are many things that you can do, but if they are not animated in the spirit of serving others, having that modality of wisdom that is tempered with compassion, then oftentimes it leads to either that one modality of either being controlled or ultimately being destroyed. And I think you'll find that as a result of that, the most valuable gifts anybody generally would have and say, which is another thing you may be alluding to, are things
Mhm.
that don't have a financial value, but they have an intangible value that one human being with good intentions in the right context is able to provide for you that you can't go to a store and purchase.
Mm. Right. Yeah.
Um,
The call to truth, she says that, the best words of wisdom that changed my life was stop taking things personally. It doesn't sound that profound, but it actually stuck with me forever. It was a weight lifted when I took that advice. I mean, it is profound. I mean, you know how many people that they take things personally? My
mm,
gosh. I mean, and this is what you're saying there, protagonist, is that, you know, you know, when it's all about you, when it's all about you, because it's fear. It's all fear of either how we feel about how others perceive us. uh we feel as though we're being exposed. People might see our weakness, they might see something in us, they might discover that something that we're trying to hide and they find that weakness, it's all based on fear. And I appreciate you sharing that, Call Truth, because I mean, most definitely, we need to stop taking things so personal. And I just put up here. Somebody said I had an agenda against Africa that is now different. And perception, how people perceives one to be. Now, I'm old enough and grown up not to take it personal, because I realize a person's perception is only where they're at. And no matter what you say, no matter how you lay it out there, a person is going to internalize it based upon their own personal experiences and how they were brought up, or their experiences, what they went through, that I have no control over. I like to say that it has everything to do with you and has nothing to do with me. Because once I believe that we get out of self, like protagonist you're saying in the THC, when we have a rediscovery that we're part of the whole, we are not just a person, but we're the people. Then then we become something greater than what we think we are. But because we are in these different cultures that say every man for himself, is me, my I, it's not about unity. It's about, you get yours and then I gets mine, you know, then when you grow up into that type of environment, you have a disregard for one another, and I will also say this too before I move forward, because I got another person coming in, is that you know I share with people now that we got to remove ourselves from using words like disagree and agree. Those words only mean, when you disagree with something, what you're basically saying is that the information that you have in your pea brain has not gained a hold of what that person's experience was, or the knowledge that they have learned or gained, and it doesn't jive, so you can agree. Or if you agree, you're saying, to my knowledge, what I know or what I've experienced, I can relate to what you're saying. But can we remove even those sayings to say, can we pause and listen to somebody to get to see, can you understand why they believe or don't believe in something? Because that's where it is. That's becoming the oneness with somebody, when you understand. But we want to tongue wrestle and we want to arm wrestle against information, and it causes dysfunction. It causes separation because of what? Fear, like you're saying, protagonist, that fear of losing the war of a debate, losing the war of somebody thinking that they know, oh, they know more than me. you know, like, oh my gosh, I'm challenged with the knowledge that I have in my head. So I am in this debate and I will fight it to the end, and I ain't taking no losses. These are the problems that we have, instead of getting to a place of understanding. Okay, I understand where you are and why you believe such a thing. Let me bring in Tyarka. Um, what,
Tiarca.
what you have to bring to the table here? How you doing, brother?
Peace, peace, peace to everyone. I'm a new subscriber to the Happy Companion too, bro.
Oh,
I discovered you about 2 weeks ago, and I love the
okay.
way you walk around and offer peace and love to everyone. I was looking and I was like, man, is that brother? I'm the first thought, honestly, that popped into my mind with you greeting everyone like brother is, man, is he naive? But then I checked myself, because I'm like, man, he got the right attitude, because I'm the one that's wrong in thinking, because I've never been there, and over here, everybody that look like you can't greet them like that. So yeah, so I want to just say kudos to you, bro. I'm a new subscriber to your channel, so
Thank you.
but
Where
I
where you
like.
where you living at there, Tiarka?
I'm currently in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay. I lived there 11 years. Okay,
Okay,
Nashville.
yeah, originally from Memphis, but
Okay.
yeah, but I made the comment that diasporans, it's not a bad thing to pick up other cultures, and that goes along with your comment about receiving mirrors and the umbrellas. Some people are trading people for umbrellas. you know, and stuff like that, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, agriculture didn't start all over the world by people at the same time. You know, everybody didn't receive the wheel at the same time. It took cultures having to interact with each other. You know, you can't even go to the oldest piece of written down African history is around the 6th century BC. And there was when, I mean, and I believe this is true. I don't know this to be true, but I believe that that's when they first got paper. You know, they received that particular piece of technology, which is paper, and writing down their history. You know, up until then, it was just probably griots and things of that nature. You know, but so I don't think the things that diasporans bring with us to Africa. You know, I think it should be a kind. I think we shouldn't try to hide that light under a bushel basket. You know, even with the slave trade and colonization. As evil as the Frenchmen were in colonization and the British people were and the Portuguese were, that wasn't actually the French people that were living in France who were practicing their culture on our continent doing that. These were mercenaries on our culture, on our continent doing the things that they were doing. But it's things to learn out of the French culture. It's things to learn out of the German culture. It's things to learn out of the American culture. I think it's a lot of things to learn out of the American culture, you know. And I just don't think that everything that we bring with our experience, should be covered up, or I don't know how to quite to say it, man. Like everything African is we should accept it wholeheartedly and not try to, add our little flavor to it. Because, I seen Zulus dance, but I think they would enjoy a good Greek step show. I think they'll enjoy that. I think they'll enjoy they do enjoy our music. I think we bring things to the world that is a remnant of where we came from, because we haven't forgotten. Even in our genetic memory, we still pull that forth. Brothers like y'all have took it an extra step and y'all express it. But it's a lot of people who are scared to express their Africanness, that they feel like they need to do sometimes. Even in church, when they do their little praise dance, they don't know, that's straight out of Africa. They doing something African and don't even realize it, but it's a lot of people who are so ashamed by the propaganda that Africa has been given to us, because my introduction to Africa was the movie Roots. And a lot of other people introduction to Africa may have been something else, may have been Ethiopians starving on TV, or something like that, because we were all exposed to that as African Americans, and we've been told so much negative things about Africa that some of us are afraid to express our Africanness. So, but I don't think that we should necessarily hide the things that we've learned from other cultures, because I believe it can enrich Africans. I believe that they can grow from learning from different cultures, just as well as we can grow from learning the things that were violently taken away from us. We can grow from that, but it's some things that I think a lot of modern humans are doing that I think a lot of us need to catch up to. But that was just my only comment, and I could fade on that.
I appreciate you, brother. Most definitely, man, with your words that you have shared with us, because I mean, hey, like you said, it's your belief and it is what it is. I mean, and my thing with that is, um, I've said this before right here. I believe we should have all different cultures in our circle, because this is an international world. And for one to try to stay with one's own, you could be at a disadvantage, because where we find that's the problem that has been Africa is sitting with, is that there are those outside of Africa where have not connected with, and being able to have some of the various different things to be able to build technologies and advancements and developments and stuff like that. And so, yes, one should be able to have the knowledge of one culture. I think it's very important to know who you're dealing with. You know, that's why people think that I hate on Europeans. And I'm like, I can't hate on Europeans when I understand the European history. Once you understand who one is, there's no reason to hate. So I understand why living in Western worlds, when things are done and operate in the fashion that they are, I can't hate on it, not at all. And so, yeah, we should be very familiar with different cultures and ways of life of how the rest of the world's doing. The issue that I see though is that when if you're removing your own out the way and you're subscribing to another culture, it could be catastrophic. And what I mean by catastrophic is that then you might take on behaviors and you begin to have practices and disciplines that may not be conducive. For an example, in Africa, they're trying to take on a democracy type of governmental bodies, which it will not work. Arab nations have found it don't work. When you have groups of people who are, whether you want to call them tribes or you have just other cultural people within your community, that they are part of the whole, and you're trying to make it all one unit, it just does not work because you're going to leave out some things. That means then you need representations of these other groups to be part of that circle that you have. We call it Congress or Senate or whatever, that you need to have those people who are representatives. See, we are in the mindset of a democracy where we don't have representation for the people of color in America. We vote for those people who aren't like us, so the agenda of those don't have an interest in the advancements of people that don't look like them. So I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with knowing other cultures, but if you're trying to embrace, especially Africa, trying to embrace in a democracy when you got 1,500 tribes within your country with different languages and ways of life, and you're going to tell a people, I've been voted in and I'm going to be the voice for the whole. Believe me, because just the way you are, where you come from, your interest, your culture, your tribe you come from, you may overlook and overstand somebody or take advantage of and unintentionally without the cares of others. This is where I'm saying that embracing another culture, you got to be very careful.
So I would say there's a lot of nuance with regards to that, and I double down and recruit again this word context. For example, English isn't my language. I'm just borrowing it. It's a medium that's provided for me, and it's what I have to utilize to the best of my ability to express my intentions. And I have a genetic memory that has a much longer history than this language does. And as a result, there are times where the things in my genetic memory that I'm trying to express that the language doesn't have something for. Under context like this, when you've got such a deep reservoir of genetic memory, there's something I just would like to have people remind themselves that, especially those in the Ados tribe, you are an amalgamation of the oldest bloodlines on planet Earth, which makes you the original human beings. Nobody else on planet Earth can say that with any full certainty. This makes you, at minimum, the grandparents of humanity. And I want to highlight how important that is in an era where very quickly the definition of human is going to be called into question. When you have the fourth industrial wave introduce concepts that are already here but make them mainstream, such as transhumanism and its 4 pillars related to genetic modification, things like artificial wombs, utilizing implants to replace systems in your bodies, including but not limited to your immune system, your limbs, parts of your neurological makeup. The question that the general culture on planet Earth is going to have to ask is, where does the human being end and where does the non-human being begin? That's going to place individuals of African descent in a unique position where you are an original human being. And as a result, all aspects of what human beings on earth have done, in some sense, you are the originator and the impetus for that. And I'll just use one quick anecdotal before I let that go. I didn't even start learning about Africa until I began my studies on Asia, because I had to learn Japanese for the martial art that I was studying. And it was an understanding and learning the aspects of Japanese history and culture that I understood their impetus came from China, and China's impetus came from India, and India led me right back to the continent. And I can draw direct lines from any point in any of those locations that I mentioned, and it will draw you back to the continent. So it's to highlight even what you understand with Europe, that still is held by the gateway known as the Phoenician language. And when you break down where that original Phoenician script came from, it's a direct line of effect directly back to the continent, specifically Kemet. So there's no getting away from the line of effect when it comes down to human activity and individuals of African descent. What that means is all culture, all human history is your history also. And the key is to not be consumed by just one, and to understand that culture is a tool and a modality for you to express who you are so that you can serve the other human beings that you share the planet with, starting with those closest to you.
Appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. We got us another brother coming in, Andrew Love. Where my sisters at? Sisters, we need the feminine energy to come in and share and express your light in this conversation as well, because really it's about words of wisdom, and that's where we're kind of going. The greatest gift we have is sharing words of wisdom. But we're going to pass on to Andrew. How you doing, my brother?
Doing fine, my brother. Good evening to you. How you doing?
Good, good. Good evening to you as well.
Hey, man, brother. You see my face now. Hey, you see I'm an African now.
There you go. You can go ahead and put on the silhouette if you want to now. So,
All right, my brother. Love to you, man. I catch you every day, and I catch you. Happy companion every day, brother. Whenever you two brothers post a video, I'm probably the first one to watch it. But
Thank you, brother.
I love both of y'all brothers, man. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. The topic of your show was what really made a transformation in one's life, or what? I forgot the topic again, brother.
yeah, it's going across the screen. What is the best gift, word of wisdom you received that was life changing?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, and I done told a happy companion this before. But the best thing, one of the best things a person ever did for me. This was a sister that lived in Tifton, Georgia.
Okay.
She told me about Africa, and she told me about Africa in 2016, and that was the summer of 2016. I met her in Georgia, in Tifton, Georgia, and we started dating after that. But she woke me up as a black man. I didn't know that I was an African.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was an African, and she talked me into getting a DNA test, and I got my DNA test. I'm 90% African. See what I'm saying? With 10% of it being, I guess I can say, plantation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which so that's something she did for me. You see what I'm saying? She told me, she said, well, because I was lost up until then, until I met her in 2016. I was lost, like most Black Americans still is, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what she did for me. And I try to do nice things for her. I took her out to eat, whenever I go to Tip and I take her out to eat or whatever. And then I started watching YouTube videos, and I found out about You Go Black to Africa, and I found out about the Happy Companion. I subscribed to both of y'all brothers' channels, man, and ever since then I've been growing. See what I'm saying?
That's good, man. That's good. That's good.
And so,
Yeah.
I don't want to hold y'all up, man, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was going to ask you a question.
Okay, bro.
Now that you know you're African, what do you do with that? What do you do?
Well, brother, what I do, Mr. Go Black, brother, I wake up my family members. I woke up my mother. I woke up my sister. I woke up my other brother. Me and him got the same dad, different mothers. And I let them know, hey, you know what I'm saying? I had them subscribe to your channel. I had them, all of my family members, subscribe to the Happy Companions channel. So I mean, but see, you gotta look at, I'm still growing. So the little I know is by what you two brothers done imparted into my spirit. That's what I know about Africa. Because you know what I'm saying? I've been on this journey now for 4 years. I woke up in 2016 through her, because her father is Ghanaian and her mother is African American. So she was basically raised as a Ghanaian, from the foods to the culture. You never shake with your left hand and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so she taught me the Ghanaian culture that her father taught her, because he's Ghanaian. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, and I like I said, it's I just been learning. I've been learning. Like I said, I had all my family members to subscribe to YouTube Brothers, and now they're learning. Now they want to go to Africa like I do. See what I'm saying? My sister want to go to Africa. My mother want to go to Africa. My brother want to go to Africa. See what I'm saying? Yeah. But we was all lost. I was lost and they was lost until I was able to wake them up and let them know, hey, we got a home. This is not our home. Just because we're over here don't mean that this is our home. We got a home that's over 1 billion of us, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I'm trying to get my sister to take a DNA test. So, because like I was telling on Happy Companion, like a month ago, once you take your DNA test and you see you're African, you really don't want to stay in America no more, because you realize I don't belong over here. You don't belong over here.
Yeah.
And until we all wake up, I mean, until a person truly wake up and make that transition to the continent, you're really not going to be happy in life. You're really not going to be happy, because you're really in a place and you're under a people that you're really not supposed to be under. You see what I'm saying? And I guess that's the reason, because I'm in my 40s. I'm in my mid 40s. I'm 45 years old. That's one of the reasons I was never happy. I've never been happy over here, because I don't belong over here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, what's interesting is that I just got back from South America here this week, and I talked to a couple of the brothers and sisters over there, and they don't know nothing about Africa. I asked, let me retract that.
Okay.
It's not that they don't know anything about Africa.
Right.
They don't know the so-called their origin of Africa. They will call themselves Colombians.
Yeah.
And all they know is their family's been there, and it's that right there. And it could have, like I said before, the Africans have went across the globe and explored and settled and all that there. But when I engage in a conversation, I'm going to launch this video probably this weekend of asking a brother about Africa. He knew some about it, but not a lot. And I asked the brother who I was with, who was touring me around, do they teach any history of Africa? And he says very little, but it's not really talked about. You have to find information on its own. And being that now that the internet is wide open, this is where many are finding out, like you said, about Africa. And let me say this too also, is that because we were talking about the culture, and I think one of my brothers, Tiaraka, was here. You know, he shared some nice words of wisdom across the panel. But sometimes when you don't know where you are and you take on other cultures, you can be confused. Let me give you another example that comes to mind.
Okay.
My wife is a physician, okay? She's a doctor. And, you know, I had asked her the question because I already knew about it. The melanin of this skin right here, this is a protectorant from the sun. We don't deal with sunburn like Europeans do.
That's right.
Now, there is a push now because of marketing and stuff like that. I've seen just a commercial probably about 2 months ago of Black people putting on sunscreen lotion when we don't need to.
Right.
But see, if you don't know what you are made of or who you are and what you originate from, you will take on the likeness and the mindset of the very place or the cultures that you're in, and that it could be catastrophic. And so, you know, I asked my wife, I said, you know, how many of your patients over 25 years that you have been practicing have got carcinoma? And she was like, none, none.
Right.
Black folks don't get that type of skin cancer basically from the sun. And a lot of us Black people don't even understand that. I have seen Black people on the beaches putting on sunscreen lotions. You know, they might be married to, you know, another a race of people or whatever, or they just don't know because they're watching commercials and all that right there, which that poison anyway you're putting on your skin. It does you no good. You got the number one protectant, which is called melanin, to protect you from the sun.
That's
Though
right.
we got to know about this too, because see, we live in these Western worlds that are northern climates above the equator. That we, and I learned this from my wife, we are deprived of vitamin D. Okay, we need the sun, but see, when the climates that we are in, especially in UK, because it's even higher north than America is, or Europe is higher in northern plains than America into a certain line reference, that when our vitamin D runs low, it causes behavioral problems. It causes mental issues. It causes body and sicknesses and stuff that will come upon you.
That's right.
Which is interesting enough that when I go to Africa and I see some Africans who walk around with umbrellas because they don't want the sun on them, when the sun is our friend. But when you don't have the education of who you are and you take on the cultures of another,
Yes.
it's like being a tiger or a lion in a zoo that is being tamed to act like a pussycat by the daggone circus master who whips you with a whip and tells you to jump through the hoop, and you don't even know that you are the king of the safari.
That's right.
And until that day you wake up and realize, I'm a freaking lion. I can eat this joker at any means. Then they mauled him. So that's what it is about, knowing who you are. And I appreciate that, Andrew, that you said you woke up. A sister woke you up to who you were.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And she lives in Tifton, Georgia, and she's a little older than me, but she is straight African. She
Yeah.
is her and her two sisters. They are more. They're to me. They're more Ghanaian than they are African American. Their father is Ghanaian, but their mother is African American. But their father raised them to be strictly more Ghanaian culture centered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is so.
I'm glad you mentioned the DNA test, because I
Yes,
can
sir.
say, I'm getting ready to go in a second after this, but
Okay.
I can definitely say that getting my DNA test
Me too.
turned me into the family villain. And even if that caused that, I can't tell you how much there's a special kind of value that comes with being in the Ados tribe and being able to point to a landmass of where you actually come from.
Yes.
And it was part of what I was talking about when I said how even people from the continent, when they come over here, these are things that they bring with them. They have a name, they have a landmass they can point to. They have a noted documented history they can point to. They have rituals and customs. They have names that have a context for purpose and meaning. And these are things that human beings generally take for granted, which really goes back to say that I really don't think human beings are even supposed to be around like this without having a purpose. But getting that DNA test for me and for most people I come across with has provided a measure of context to the rest of their existence that helps them become more human. I don't know any other way to describe it. You probably understand what I'm saying and feel what I'm saying more than being able to intellectually process or even articulate it. But it provides a context, and it really challenges a lot of what a lot of us here back here in the West. And it's why, again, I was made the villain, because we discovered that no, we didn't have the Native American thing going on at all. We're 100% sub-Saharan African, which is virtually unheard of in the Ados tribe. And not only that, we could point ourselves back to a region of Africa that has such a deep history and connection with Kemet and most of East Africa that it's worth investigating. And, that gave me the impetus to want to learn more. That gave me a sense of orientation and okay, well, this adds more context to this, and that adds more context to that, and that's why I like this or that. And these are things that they're transformative. If you can apply for these things, anyone that's listening, it behooves you to take the time to save up. Go ahead and get it done. It's worth it. There's nothing else that will replace that feeling about learning who in the world you actually are. And it's even that much more visceral and powerful of an experience when you get to set foot on the continent and see literally the origin from where you came from, and really get to experience people who are you, and to know that you are an amalgamation of all of them. But with that, family, thanks for having me up. It was great getting to chop it up with you, man. And I'll definitely be listening in the clouds.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother, for you coming in and sharing your words of wisdom and knowledge. So I appreciate you.
Okay. Well, my brother, go black. God bless you, man. Love to you, brother. Happy holidays. I'm finally glad to be able to talk to you.
All right, brother. Hey, I appreciate you even coming on, man, and sharing your words of wisdom as well. Appreciate
Okay,
you.
Okay, my brother. I'm finna leave out now because I kind of got to get back to work.
Okay, then. Peace out.
Okay,
Yeah,
my brother.
family, somebody was asking about DNA. What's the best place to, get DNA, your DNA from and all? Each DNA company has their own way, but my DNA I got from was African ancestry, because it will show you the region of Africa. I hate to say countries, because I believe sometimes we need to remove ourselves from the mindset of a country of Africa and really the regions or the kingdoms of Africa. But African ancestry, they will point in the direction of the region of where you are by the association of the country. That's the pinpoint. Like we say Africa, people argue about it's not Africa, it was named an individual. Okay, it's just a reference, so we know where you're talking. But African ancestry will give you the region, or the country rather, and then also the tribe that your DNA is showing based upon the testing that they have done here over quite a few years. I also did one just to 23andMe is a more of a European DNA, but interesting enough, I mean, the DNA is valid. I have family members who have popped up on there that I can see that it shows the association, and it correlates with your DNA, and it really, nobody can excuse really themselves from a DNA test if it's done proper in order, I guess, by these companies. Nobody really knows who's this and that. But it's interesting that I have several family members, distant family members, who are on there that I never talked to about DNA tests, that they popped up on my family tree. So there is definitely some companies out here that you can go to. So 23andMe is one I did. In African ancestry, I also did. In African ancestry, I did the maternal and paternal tests through. Yes, so sisters, where my sisters? I cannot go on without my sisters at least chiming in about what is the best gift that was giving you. We had our sister that was through the chat that she shared. Can a sister call in? Can a couple sisters call in and share what is their best gift that's given through them words of wisdom, or impact that maybe by a family member, friend, or whoever that changed your life forever? Because I believe this is some good conversation that we can all learn from one another. The interesting thing that I loved about the panel that was just here, there was no debate and argue, and there was exchange of ideas and words and wisdom without debate, arguing. And this is how we as a people really can go ahead and get along. Now, I mean, to each his own channel and stuff like that. I believe we can operate in love. We had a brother who was from the Ados tribe, he says, a brother who's a Muslim, another that is part of the Christian faith, another that we still can have a common ground of Africa and still behave with respect towards one another, and keeping the center focus of what is at place or at the topic, without arguing and debating. Wasn't that lovely, y'all? Men not having to have to fight and argue to who wants to challenge another of their words of knowledge, trying to go ahead and debate and claim somebody else is wrong, but that we can just listen. See, this is what the words of wisdom had taught me too, is that 11 years that I was pulled aside to zip my lip and just listen, become the watcher of life. I had to do coming out of the church. I had to do that for 11 years and remain quiet. And last year I was released to share and talk, but yet listen. And though that people may have an understanding totally different than mine, I still can respect where they are, because I'm at a place too. And it doesn't mean I'm here and they're down here, not at all. It means we are at two different places of understanding, and one does not trump another. Because there again, from the books you read, from the schools you go to the degrees that we have, we all learned it from somebody who learned it from somebody who learned it from somebody. Now, the question of it is that who's all absolute truth and accurate and who's not? And I can guarantee you not one is. But I love that what we just displayed as Black men in the eyes of the public, that we don't have to be of debate. We don't have to be of argument. And we can have different backgrounds of what we may be tied to through our spiritual belief system, through our associations to different groups, and we still can keep the first and foremost thing at bay, or at the front, the forefront. And that is, we're melanated people coming from a continent of origin, of being the same. So that right there deserves a clap and a gift to show we can do it. We can do it. Let's see here. So I can't get no women to call in to share their gift, whatever. If you want to put it in the chat, by all means, put it in the chat too. But yes, sisters, you know what? I'm like right here. Without you can be no me. It took my mama and my daddy to join together to bring me in this world. And I believe that the woman has her impactful place, her powerful place in society, that she has been neglected and have been taken advantage of, and having the voice that rightfully she needs. One thing I love about Africa, in most of the countries I've been to, that Black woman, that African woman, she has a position. We know Africa, look, they got African female presidents. America ain't had one yet. Women ain't start voting, white women ain't start voting till the 60s. They was an uproar because the Black folk got the vote before they could. But the respect that is due of you women, I'm gonna tell you, my channel, it's amazing when I give props to my sister. It's the lowest views of all my videos that I get is when I start giving respect to what women are doing. And it's a sad place today that we have that. But women on this channel right here, you have the respect. I'm not gonna beat you up. You are respected, and believe me, you're welcome. You are welcome. The chat, the link is in the chat for those to come in. And thank you, Andy, for your heart of giving. I saw you come earlier. I didn't give a chance to give you a shout out. I appreciate your heart of giving. I think that's twice that you have done that. And thanks again. Appreciate you. Let's see what people got to say here. If there's no more call-ins, we'll go ahead and see what y'all got to say out here on the panel, and then we'll come to a close. Okay, let's see. Somebody got here right here. Tiger Gal says, one of the best gifts is the wisdom of the Creator when he revealed that let me say this right here. And see, this right here, I like to say with much respect to Tiger Gal, and everybody has their own respect and view. I had to come and learn that Creator It's not a he. And I believe that the Western world that we come from has put the he because of leaving out the she. Because my observation and my studies of what's around me, within me, and outside of me is both. And if we study the old African spirituality of the Kemet, from Kemet, they always gave the creator and the depiction of the creator a masculine and a feminine. Asar, Aset, where he wants to talk about Ptah, it had the attributes of a female and male entity or a spiritual component in its rightful place. But that best gift of the wisdom of the creator, you better believe. Because once women start to understand that, look, no. This he that they keep referring to is putting you at a disadvantage, and we need to unlock our brains so that now, woman, you could wake up to that the power of the creator is you as well. I know we were taught, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. We know that Jesus was spoke of and he referred to he. But who laid that line out though? Because even if you go to the old, believe me, I was a preacher for 20 years and I had to walk out of the Christianity. I didn't say walk out. I graduated Christianity, but I walked out of church. That I had to understand, even from the old writings, way before even they say Christ came on board, was when the question was asked, who are you? The answer was never he. The answer was, I am that I am. And I had to chew on that for about several years. What does that mean? I am that I am. Because that was the question in the ancient writings and I'm just trying to help some people out because we got to unlock this thing because women need to get back into their godly position. Now, I know that we are man, woman, child, man, woman, child, man, woman, child. We've been hit over the head with that for so long, and I'm sorry. I have a new understanding that came years ago through the spirit that showed me you're walking in error when you say that. You know what I'm saying? It takes two to tangle. It takes two to create in everything. Not no thing on this earth can create on its own. Not one thing can. You please show it to me in the plant kingdom, in the animal kingdom, in the insect kingdom, in the human kingdom, in all the species. It takes two to tangle. So what excludes a spirit to have the masculine and the feminine spirit, the energy to create itself? I know some people disagree. That's okay. I'm not trying to sway you. I'm giving you a food for thought. Because in every man is a woman, and in every woman is a man. Such is true. But yes, I appreciate that sharing that, my Tiger Gal, with that the creator, of course. Yes, heck, that was the greatest thing that, also one of the best gifts that was ever given to me. That beyond what I think of myself, there is one greater than me. That one that I ran into my living room before taking my life. And it didn't appear to me, this is my story right here. It didn't appear to me in no male, no female contents of a bodily form. But all I felt was a peace and a love that rests upon me to put me straight for the moment without taking my life. All right, Nancy, deep call to deep. Hey, please call in. The link is in the chat. Let me know about what is your greatest gift given. We need the women to come in and chime in. Lovely Africa says, thank you, Go Black. Hey, I thank you for even coming to listen. Thank you very much. We got Honeycomb right here. 368 says, the greatest gift I've ever been given was the gift of life. My mom was freshman in college and chose life. She and my dad have been married for 50 years. Wow. Hands claps to your mom and dad, because we know very few people has made it in the 50 years. But the life, and you said your mama chose it because she was carrying a gift, which was you, Honeycomb. And that is powerful. And I appreciate you sharing that, because we have to understand, that, when we are creators, the first creation is the life given to with this earth that we are in. It's very special. I never knew that until later in my years. Yes. Young and dumb, went down that road of abortion. Yep. Raise my hand right here. I tell you, I'll share my dirt. I'll share my dirt, because I know there are those out there who might be going through. But when selfishness is moved because of fear, oh, what am I going to do? Having a child this young of age? Or whatever. I know we all go through, and to each his own. You got to make your own choice. But I'll say the gift that was given you to produce is a gift within itself. Yes. Thank you, Honeycomb, for sharing that. Appreciate that. Let's see here. What else we got? Who else? Somebody said something. Let's see what we got here. Well spoken. That's having the capacity for for consciousness, which espouses the speaking of being. Your dialogues have always been a factual occurrence. Keep speaking the truth. Your Ghanaian brother. Appreciate you, Ka. I appreciate you. Most definitely. Yeah. Terry Gregg says Galatians that Jerusalem, which is above is free, which is the mother of us all. All righty. Yeah. We when we speak into the bosom of the masculine God, we're walking in the womb of the feminine God. For real, And if we disrespect the womb, the earth that we live on, guess what? We don't have longevity of life. Let's see here. Here we go. Wisdom is personified as a woman for a reason. By wisdom, the Most High found the earth. By understanding, he created the heavens. That is something that very few, and I've said this before in some of my videos, that if you want to know the feminine side of God, read Proverbs, because it talks about wisdom being she. It referred to as she, the wisdom of God, the knowledge, understanding. Yeah. Thank you, Awaken Greatness with Prince David. It speaks very much of the she side, which preachers do not talk about. Today we're so caught up on the physical and not the spiritual that we tend to get caught up into the body form of things and not the spiritual form of things. Okay, call to truth. You said read the Bible and the Apocrypha, not our own musings. Hey, it's good reading. I mean, if you can add to or take away from, I mean, hey, they took away from the Apocrypha, but yeah, it's 15 books that were removed from the Bible, what have you. But these are just another findings of scrolls, scriptures, or ancient writings, whatever you want to call it for yourself, that are there to that our stories are told in the ancient of days or what have you. And you can salvage what you want out of. You can go ahead and use it for fuel. And there are those who use it as far as a weapon. Such is life. Yeah. All right. Your God was your leader. Your king and him had a queen, the goddess, overstand. All righty. Most definitely. Let's see. Lovely Africa said the best gift for me is the Most High giving me truth. Yeah. Terry said, I'm very well aware that we have self-hatred amongst one another, so I am not here to fight with anyone because I know we have too much self-hate amongst one another. Now that's wisdom talking. That's wisdom talking. Arguments really never got us anywhere, really. I mean, dialogue is good and sometimes it can get heated, but if we all can just hear and understand each other, sometimes you can get to a place of resolution. Where is my call-in number? I'm going to put it right on in here, Nura. Here comes the link in the chat for you to go ahead and call in. All right, the link right now is in the chat for my feminine spiritual sisters who are out there who wants to add to the masculine side of our dialogue that we've had. How do you get that chat to talk? Okay, Anita, huh? I just put the link in right now. If you, for those who want to call in, you can. I got 15 minutes. I mean, if we don't have a lot, no need to go ahead and prolong everything. I think we had a good panel of men and some women in the chat that shared their views and people had their says and all that right there. I think we got a sister that's calling in right now. I will wait on her call. And please, by all means, if any other sisters are out there, please share what is on your spirit to give to the world. This is a platform that now you can be heard, even amplified for what has been putting you, that now you are a voice across the globe. Because when I do the shout outs and ask people where are they from, I don't ask it just to be nosy. I want to see where this word is being reached. You have a very important, impactful say to the world. No matter whoever told you didn't, you do. All right. I'm gonna give the sister a minute again to go ahead and call in. If she doesn't, I think she might be off. I don't know. So, let's see what else we got here. Somebody said, just click the link. Yes, if you just click the link, then you'll go ahead into the back room. It'll give you a quick instruction, what you need to do. You'll pop up. I'll see you in the back room. I'll bring you in. So yeah, just click on that link there. And I'm not sure on what type of media or hardware you're on, but we'll see. I will be having a guest tomorrow. A person reached out to me from Ghana. One that I interviewed while I was down in Botswana. And he saw my video and he said he wants to share some of his thoughts in his heart. Now, this brother here, I interviewed, he threw me off. He threw me a curve because he has some words to share about Ghana. He's Ghanaian. He's from there, lived there, born, raised there. And he shared, well, I did several videos on Ghana here lately. And some people didn't like that. They felt as though I was hating on Ghana and trying to put a bad rep on Ghana. And I shared with the people, I don't have nothing against Ghana. I love Ghanaians. I love Ghana in itself. There are things that I don't like, just like any other country. So it ain't like I'm trying to attack Ghana or anything. But I do know this right here on my channel, because I've traveled to 14 countries in Africa, that when I hear reports or I see things, I report it as such, especially Ghana, being that the majority of the diaspora goes to Ghana. And that there are people who don't get the message through mainstream media of what's going on. And there are people who are making way to go. And this right here is the great thing about the platforms we have, is that you can get connected with those who are connected with people on the ground. I have people on the ground in these countries that I can make one call and say, is it true? I just called a brother up in Lalibela, in Ethiopia, because the TLPF overtook Lalibela. And I got word of that. And I say, hey, man, you okay? Is it true what they're saying, that the so-called the the people came in and overtook the town, this and that. And he told me, he said, well, yeah, we good. We left, and he's in Badar. Badar, it's another town away that they fled to and stuff like that. And he said his friend was killed, a young man that was there. And so he gave me the report that was on the ground, because sometimes media will give you different information and having you believe something. So when it comes to Ghana, and majority of people go to Ghana, and when I hear something, I'm going to share the word. And some people don't like that. Oh, you're hating on Ghana. Why am I hating on Ghana when I got people who's putting up videos that are saying what the problems are happening in the airport? Now, I did 2 videos on that. Hold up, y'all. Y'all need to know what's happening, that you can get caught up in Ghana's airport. If a report is out, like I did, of a personal friend, 2 friends, when the bank, I did a video of the bank that took hundreds of people's money, over hundreds of thousands of dollars, that they scammed the people, took the money and the employees ran. I did a video on it. These are credible people I know, so that you know what is going on. If I said nothing and you go into Africa and put your money in this bank, what good is that? I'm putting the word out. Now, whether you like it or not, it's just how it is. It's just how it is. I mean, and that's what this media is for. This ain't my intentions to hurt anybody. Not at all. It's to bring awareness, the good, the bad, and indifferent, about the motherland, Africa, in my travels as I go. And majority of my videos, when people know me, it's been all good. But I share things that I have hiccups on, things I don't like, things that just don't sit well with me. I'm going to bring it out. I'm probably one of the few YouTubers who's doing in Africa, telling it. Most people are caring about subscribers. I don't care about subscribers. I appreciate people coming in and all that right there. But like I said, my channel's grown to 115. Do you know, I believe without a shadow of a doubt, I probably would be up about 450,000 right now if I just kept it straight Africa. If I zipped my lip, didn't share my view, my perception, my opinion, many people would have subscribed. But no, I got things I share and my views, and I keeps it real to my own view. I can keep it just Africa. I can overlook things and issues. I can get you to try to come to Africa. Oh, it's beautiful. It's this, it's great. It's that. Everything's all that. Paint a picture. No, there's problems in Africa. And there's a lot of problems in Africa. And I'm not going to act like there ain't no problems in Africa. And I know that us who come from Western worlds, we live a certain way that you need to be aware of when you get there. They may not have the accommodations for you. It may not be all concrete, squeaky clean that you might think of. Not everybody's your friend and look at you as a brother. I'm going to share that information. Do you know how many people packed up off of the so-called words of other YouTubers, believing it was heaven? You know how many people left to go back? And you know how many emails I get? And it's like, I appreciate you, Go Black, for you just keeping it real and showing the good, the bad, and different. So for those who get mad, guess what? You got to at least appreciate it. You got to appreciate it. Okay, this isn't like the sister's going to call in. I wish each and every one of you all a beautiful evening, wherever you may be. I appreciate your good, your bad, your indifferent comments, your suggestions, and your opinions. But most importantly, that you gave the time just to sit here and listen to me share, and the panel that came in, you got to see some very great brothers of wisdom that wasn't full of debate and arguing, who respected each other's turn to speak. And another came in. This was magnificent. This is something that I want to strive and show, that we as a people are excellent, and we should strive for excellency, because we are. With that, thank you very much, Call to Truth. Good night to you as well. Farewell to all of you all out there. keeps it real. Be honest with yourself. And as tomorrow comes in, ask yourself the hard question. What am I doing? Peace and blessings, family. I'm out.